Hey there Star Wars fans, and welcome back to Astromech Productions, a Star Wars and LEGO Star Wars YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be going over the top 10 most underrated LEGO Star Wars sets, in my opinion. This will include all the sets from 1999 to now, including UCS sets, Battlepacks, etc, and will be in no particular order. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first set that I came up with is the Imperial Assault Hovertap. This is set number 75152, came out in 2016 for £30 or $30. Has 385 pieces and 3 minifigures. Now, I actually love this set, and I'm surprised people don't talk about it more, because it's a really solid build. It's really cool. It's something that we don't really you don't really have kind of tanks per se in the Star Wars universe, and it's a really nice kind of build and concept from Rogue One, from the film it's in, and I just really like the idea, but also you get some awesome minifigures with the Imperial Assault Hover Tank pilot, and obviously Chirrut Imwe, who is awesome. And you know, this is very easy a set that you can have multiple of, and I love it. I have one at the moment. I definitely want to get more because it's so cool, and I really like this set, and I'm surprised people don't dislike it necessarily. They just, it's not a beloved set, and I think it could get way more credit than it does. Next we have the Wookie Gun Ship Set 75084, came out in 2015 for £60 or $70, has 570 pieces and 4 minifigures. This again is such a cool set, and it's just like, it's not really talked about that much, and I love it. It's kind of the interior is kind of lacking. You don't have much interior space or stuff, and the build's a bit kind of clunky and brickish at points, but it looks so good, and it's so aesthetically appealing thing, and you get such good minifigures with it. Obviously, you get 3 Wookiees, which is more Wookiees than we get in any other set, plus you get Kanan, and I mean it goes for a lot now because you have the Kanan minifigure, but you can get it without the Kanan, and you still get 3 Wookiees, which is awesome. And it looks, if you're doing kind of play scales and stuff, places, it's also a really good ship to have there, and it kind of looks like a transport ship, and you can put other Wookiees inside it, and you can make space, and there's a lot you can do with it, and it's a really fun set. It's one of my favourites, and it's really cool, just the colours and the aesthetic of it, and the way it looks. It's like the Republic gunship. It's such a cool set, and I absolutely love it. Next we have the Ewok Village Set 10236, came out in 2013 for £200 or $250. Has 1,990 pieces and 17 minifigures. This set right here is one of my all-time favourite sets. It's just so cool. I mean, the way it looks, the amount of minifigures you get it, and it comes from Return of the Jedi, which is my favourite Star Wars movie. It's just such a cool set. I love it. I remember seeing it when it first came out and going, that's a set I want. I've never actually got it, which sucks. I really want to get it someday, but obviously it's quite expensive now. But it's such a cool set, and it's just kind of people look over it, I think, because it's not like a kind of big collector's UCS set. It's like, it should be a Master Builder Series set, but obviously they didn't have Master Builder Series back in 2013. But it's kind of one of those sets, and it's such an amazing set. I love it so much, and just the look of it, and you have all these kind of little special features about it, and kind of gadgets almost in it. It's awesome. I love it so much, and it definitely should get more credit than it does. Next we have the Jedi Enclosure with Battlepacks Set 75206, came out in 2018 for £13 or $15. Has 102 pieces and 4 minifigures. Now, this is a set that's not just kind of underrated, I wouldn't say hated, but it's disliked by quite a lot of people. I think because of the inclusion of the 2 Jedi in there. Obviously Battlepacks are supposed to be kind of army builders, but who doesn't want an army of Kaidimundis and Barazofis? I mean, but I think for someone like me who's kind of very much buys on a budget, if those are kind of 2 figures that I would usually have included in a bigger set, and it would have cost a lot of money, and I wouldn't have been able to get them. But the fact that they included them in a battle pack, and it means I can get them and build the amount of Jedi I have, is awesome. And sure, I wouldn't buy tons of these, but I don't think it's kind of a battle pack that you're supposed to buy tons of. It's just kind of, it's a really nice build, and it's a solid build, and it's got excellent minifigures from my perspective, and I just think it's such a cool set that I personally really enjoy. Okay guys, so next we have the Resistance Y-Wing. It's set number 75249, came out in 2019 for £60 or $70, has 578 pieces and 5 minifigures. Now, I said this in my review of this video, but again, this is one of my favourite LEGO Star Wars sets of all time. I can't really explain it. I think it's just, the red on it is really nice, it's really sleek, it's really elegant. I just really love the ship, and it feels so good in your hands. It's one of my kind of all-time favourites, and I think the ship itself, it doesn't get much kind of, I want to say, acknowledgement from the film, because in The Rise of Skywalker, it was obviously just another ship. I mean, the Resistance had several of them, but it wasn't like in A New Hope where the Y-Wings played a big part in the Battle of Yavin. It was kind of just a smaller background ship in the Battle of Exegol. So for that, for that reason, I think it doesn't get kind of as much attention. But it's such a nice ship. It's one of my all-time favourites, and I think it's criminally underrated because it is so good. Our next set is the First Order Transporter Set 75103, came out in 2015 for £80 or $90. Has 792 pieces and 7 minifigures. Now this is one of the ones on my list that's maybe not as underrated as the other ones. I still think it doesn't quite get the attention it deserves. I mean, it does have that Captain Phasma minifigure, which I think draws people's attention to it slightly more. But it's such a cool ship because you get the 2 Flame Troopers, plus you get the 2 First Order Stormtroopers, and they're just really cool and they fit in the ship really well, and it's a nice way to transport things around. Obviously, I'd have liked it if it was a bit bigger. You can only fit 4 minifigures in there, or kind of 6 if you squish them up, but it's still super cool and I love it so much. It's one of my favourite ships, and I wanted it for years before I got it. And if they re-release it, I'd like them to do it just slightly bit bigger, but I still think it's such a good build. The Z95 Headhunter is next. It's at number 75004, in 2013 for £40 or $50. Has 373 pieces and 3 minifigures. Again, this is one that I feel the build is very underrated, but the minifigures aren't, because obviously you have the 501st Pilot, which is exclusive, Pong Krell, who's also exclusive, and the 501st Trooper, who at that time was only in, I think, one other set. So this is, in my opinion, kind of one of the best looking Star Wars fighters. It just looks so sleek and so cool, and when you have the set in your hands, it looks amazing. It's one of those ships that you can certainly get kind of fleets of, because I mean, nowadays they're not that expensive if you get them without the minifigures. They're kind of 20 quid, maybe 15 if you get a bargain, but they're just so cool and so sleek and so simplistic. It's not like, there's tons of pieces and greebling on there and all this fancy stuff. It's just kind of the bare ship, and it's really nice because of that, and I love it so much because it's so sleek and so beautiful and so elegant, yet at the same time so cool. Next we have the Resistance Bomber Set 75188, came out in 2017 for £100 or $110, 778 pieces and 5 minifigures. This is again one of those ships that's not maybe as underrated as the rest, but I still feel it is kind of too underrated for how good of a set I think it is. I don't personally own the ship. I really want to. The minifigures are so cool. The build looks so cool. It's got so many kind of pieces and functionality and all kinds of stuff. I think the bombing mechanism they do on this thing is incredible. And I love kind of all the personalized helmets for the Resistance members, and you get really cool minifigures. As I said, you get Holdo and Poe and the bomb kind of ship pilots, and it also the kind of the build of it, the way it looks is really cool with that kind of big bottom. And I know in the movie it's maybe not the most useful ship and then will get blown up, but it still looks super cool, I think. Penultimately, we have the Battle Droid Troop Carrier Set 75086, came out in 2015 for £40 or $40. It's 565 pieces and 15 minifigures. This set, I think, after we had kind of the MTT around that time, which had, I think, what was just 6 battle droids that could fit inside. This ship it could fit 12 battle droids. So cool, and it's such a nice way to cheaply get so many battle droids. And I think the nice thing is, because it's not a hefty build, like with the MTT, the 2008 MTT, we got more battle droids than this. We got 20 that could fit inside it, but there was a lot of build around it, whereas this, there's not much build around it, so it's quite cheap, and it was really nice to get all those minifigures, plus you get kind of 2 pilot droids and the Gungan, which was pretty cool. But I love this ship. I've got one of them, and I certainly intend to get more, simply just to get the battle droids, and also I quite like the way they look. And I think, yeah, it's just people kind of look over it because it's quite small and simplistic, but actually getting all those droids in a set like this is really cool, and we don't really get other sets where we get kind of tons of troops, or we don't get the clone troopers or stormtroopers or rebel troopers or first order stormtroopers, etc. We do get that with this, which I think is super cool. And finally, we have the First Order Heavy Scout Walker Set 75177, came out back in 2017 for £50 or $50. Has 554 pieces and 4 minifigures. And I think of all the sets on this list, this one is certainly the most underrated. I think it is so cool. I know we don't see it in the actual movie in the Battle of Great and the Last Jedi, but I still think it's so cool. The way those legs move and that kind of spider thing is so sick. And also the minifigures we're getting it are really nice. Obviously we get General Hux, the Resistance Trooper, etc. I think it's just really cool, and I think it's wildly underrated just because I think simply the mechanisms. You know, the actual vehicle itself, it doesn't have huge amounts of room, etc. But the mechanisms and stuff from that vehicle are so cool, and it looks amazing. And I love this set so much. I don't own it, but I desperately want to. It's so cool, and it's another set that you can get several of, and it'll still look really good. And I think, in my opinion, this, conveniently being the last one, is the single most underrated LEGO Star Wars set because it's such a good set in my opinion. So guys, which of these sets was your favourite? If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, make sure to subscribe and turn your post notification bells on. May the force be with you, and I'll see you